Picture yourself living with unshakable clarity. Each day begins with energy, direction, and calm control. Your thoughts move with precision. Your actions align with your deepest goals. Nothing rattles you, nothing pulls you off course. This is the mind at its maximum, the mind trained to rise above noise and to command life with strength. This is not a dream, it is a discipline. The Stoics believed the human mind, when guided by the right principles, can become unstoppable. Not through chance, not through fleeting bursts of motivation, but through steady practice that forges resilience, sharpens focus, and builds unbreakable inner power. In the next 40 minutes, you will discover 8 timeless Stoic principles designed to elevate your mind to its highest potential. Each principle is a step toward mastery, a step toward the life you've always wanted, a life where clarity rules over confusion and where your choices create lasting strength. Stay with me to the very end, because the final principle is where everything comes together. It's the point where discipline is no longer an effort, but a way of being. And when that happens, your life shifts into a state of power few ever reach. Principle 1. You need a reason that matters. We begin with the first principle. You need a reason that matters. Without it, nothing else will last. Discipline, focus, even strength itself, these things collapse when the reason behind them is shallow. You can push yourself for a few days out of guilt or for a week out of excitement. But when the hard days come, and they always do, you will quit unless you have a reason strong enough to pull you forward. So ask yourself, why do I want to be disciplined? Don't give a neat answer you'd post online. Be brutally honest. If your answer is vague, I want success, I want to improve, that won't carry you far. Success in what? Improve for whom? When the alarm rings at 5 a.m. and your body aches, those words will not get you out of bed. But if your reason is clear and alive, it changes everything. Maybe your reason is your children. You want to be the kind of parent who is present, strong and healthy enough to play with them, to guide them, to be there when they grow. Imagine your son looking up at you, asking you to throw the ball, and you don't have the energy. Does that sting? Good. That sting is fuel. Or maybe your reason is your craft, the thing you were born to do. The book is unwritten. The business has not yet been built. The music is unplayed. When you remember that the world is waiting for your work, suddenly discipline feels less like a burden and more like an offering. At first, I thought discipline was about force, forcing myself to go to the gym, forcing myself to study, forcing myself to stay on task. But that kind of discipline never lasts. What lasts is choice. Discipline is choosing the right thing over and over, even when no one is watching. It's shutting the laptop after one episode because you promised yourself you'd write. It's lacing up your shoes after work when every part of you says, skip it tonight. And the only thing that makes that choice possible, day after day, is a reason that matters. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?" He wasn't rising for comfort. He wasn't rising to impress anyone. He was rising because his reason was rooted in purpose, living the life he was meant to live. Look at something as ordinary as intermittent fasting. To someone without a reason, it feels like torture. Why skip breakfast if you don't have to? But if your reason is clear, I want to train my will. I want to be free from cravings. I want to honor my body as a tool, not a master. Then each skipped meal becomes a victory. You smile at the hunger because it proves your reason is stronger than your appetite. This is why clarity matters. Without it, you'll quit. With it, you'll endure. And you'll endure not with clenched fists, but with steady conviction. So I ask you, what is your reason? Write it down. Refine it until it makes your chest tighten when you read it. Because when life tests you, and it will, that reason will be the rope you hold on to. But remember, even the strongest reason can be drowned out by noise. You may know exactly why you want to live with discipline, but if your attention is stolen 100 times a day, your purpose will blur. Which leads us directly to the second principle. You must stay away from distractions. For distraction is not harmless. It is the quiet thief that steals your reason before you even notice. Principle 2. You must stay away from distractions. Imagine your mind as a river. When it runs deep and clear, it has power, able to turn wheels, to move ships, to carve valleys through stone. But when the water is scattered into dozens of shallow streams, it loses its strength. This is what distraction does. Every time you check your phone, every time you drift into endless scrolling, every time you surrender to noise, you take from the river of your mind and pour it into sand. Do you see how easy it is to feel tired without doing anything? Do you see how a day can pass with nothing meaningful accomplished, not because you lacked energy, but because your attention was scattered? Seneca warned us long ago, while we are postponing, life speeds. These words echo with truth today more than ever. Our lives are not stolen by fate. They slip away when we delay, when we let hesitation rule. Each moment lost to distraction or indecision is a moment of life surrendered. Let me ask you, how many times have you sat down with a clear intention, maybe to study, to write, to work, only to realize an hour later that you've done nothing but hop between apps, messages, or meaningless tasks? You know the feeling. Your body is still, but your mind is scattered. That hollow sense of wasted time gnaws at you, and yet tomorrow, if you do not choose differently, the cycle repeats. The antidote is not complicated, but it demands courage. You must create walls around your focus. Silence the constant buzz of your phone. Clear your desk of clutter. Close the tabs that tempt you away. Think of distraction as fire. If you leave sparks unattended, they will spread and consume everything. To live with maximum clarity, you must learn to extinguish those sparks before they grow. Let me share a simple example from my own life. There was a period when I struggled to write consistently. Every morning I would sit down, coffee in hand, ready to pour my thoughts onto the page. Yet somehow, I would open my browser, just for a moment, and 30 minutes later, I would still be lost in headlines or trivial news. The words never came. One day, I decided to remove the temptation altogether. I left my phone in another room. I blocked the websites that lured me in. At first, the silence was uncomfortable, even harsh. But then, something remarkable happened. The river of my thoughts began to flow again. Within weeks, I was writing more in an hour than I had written in days before. The difference was not talent. It was simply the removal of distraction. This is the beauty of the Stoic path. It does not ask for miracles, but for discipline. It asks you to protect your attention as if it were gold, because it is. Your energy, your time, your ability to think deeply, these are the treasures of life. Why spend them on noise that leaves you empty? Instead, guard them, direct them toward what matters. Choose silence over chatter. Choose depth over novelty. Choose the present moment over the fleeting distraction. So let me challenge you. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what are the 3 distractions that steal most of your time? Write them down. Then, tomorrow, take one concrete action to remove just one of them. Small steps compound. One distraction removed opens the door to an hour of clarity. And an hour of clarity can change the course of your day, your week, your life. Train your brain for maximum power by refusing to hand your focus over to the trivial. Stay awake, stay watchful, for the thief of distraction will always be at your door. Guard your mind, and it will reward you with strength, peace, and purpose. And if this message has stirred something in you, if you feel the call to live with greater clarity and discipline, then let this be the first act of focus. Commit to your growth. Subscribe to this channel so each time you return, you are reminded not of noise, but of wisdom, not of distraction, but of strength. This is your journey toward mastery. Let us walk it together. Principle 3. You grow by taking small steps daily. Growth is often misunderstood. We look for sudden sparks, dramatic shifts, and instant mastery. But the Stoics remind us that the mind, like the body, bends and strengthens only through gradual, consistent effort. No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig, Epictetus wrote. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. This is not just an observation about fruit. It is a mirror held up to your own life. Your mind is not trained by intensity alone, but by constancy. Picture the sculptor before a block of marble. One strike of the chisel does not reveal the statue. Hundreds, even thousands, of small, deliberate strikes are required. In the same way, your mind is shaped by the things you repeat daily, the thoughts you allow, the choices you make, and the discipline you practice. The question is not, can I transform overnight? The question is, what am I carving today? Consider the ordinary day. You wake, you scroll, you rush, you react. Hours pass, and nothing seems to change. But if instead you inserted a single act, 5 minutes of silence, one page read with attention, one decision made with intention, you would begin to tilt the trajectory of your life. Alone, the act seems insignificant, but repeated, it gathers force. Like the river carving valleys, small acts create landscapes of character. Can you imagine who you would become if you honored these small steps for a year? The essence of Stoicism lies in understanding that mastery is not born in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary done with care. Daily effort is not glamorous. It feels quiet, almost invisible, yet it is the most powerful force for change. Your brain learns not by grand resolutions, but by repeated patterns. Train it with distraction, and it becomes scattered. Train it with small, deliberate focus, and it becomes precise, sharp, and unyielding. Here is the practical truth. Choose one step and make it non-negotiable. If you wish to think clearly, begin by journaling 2 sentences each morning. If you wish to master your body, commit to a single set of push-ups daily. If you wish to grow calmer, Close your eyes for 1 minute of stillness each night. Do not underestimate the smallness. That is where strength begins. And when resistance whispers, remember this: the mind does not fear the step that is light. It is tricked into movement. And once you move, you gather momentum. What was once effort becomes identity. You are no longer trying to grow. You are simply someone who grows. That is the quiet revolution. This is why small steps matter. They are the proof that transformation is real, not a dream. They are the discipline that rewires the brain for maximum clarity and strength. And when you understand this, you see the connection to what follows. Small steps are the path, but their power multiplies when they are guided by a vision beyond today. Which is why the next principle stands waiting. You achieve more with long-term rewards. For it is not the single step that defines you, but the horizon those steps lead you toward. Principle 4. You achieve more with long-term rewards. To train your brain for maximum strength, you must learn to master the art of patience. The mind is easily seduced by the sweetness of instant rewards, the buzz of a notification, the quick sugar rush, the comfort of saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Yet these are illusions. They fade in minutes. What endures, what transforms your very being, comes only through the long path, the discipline of choosing rewards that unfold over years, not seconds. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Training your mind means learning to estimate rightly. The quick pleasure might feel powerful now, but 5 minutes later, it is gone. The long-term rewards, health, mastery, wisdom remain, and they shape the rest of your life. But let us not keep this lofty and abstract. I want you to see how this principle works in the real, ordinary choices of your day. Right now, you can choose something small. Trade 10 minutes of scrolling on your phone for 10 push-ups and 10 deep breaths. You might laugh at how simple that sounds, but multiply that by 365 days, 3,650 push-ups, a stronger body, a calmer breath. This is how the small builds into the great. Or consider money. Imagine you put aside just $3 each day instead of buying a coffee you don't really need. At the end of 1 year, that's more than $1,000. Over 10 years invested wisely, it could grow to thousands more. The short-term reward of coffee fades after 20 minutes. The long-term reward of financial stability lasts for decades. Which life are you building? Ask yourself, what do I truly want to stand for 5 years from now? Do I want to look back and see comfort or transformation? Do I want to remember nights lost in distraction or mornings when I chose to rise and build something lasting? This is where Stoicism calls us higher. It is not about denying yourself everything. It is about training yourself to choose what matters more deeply than momentary ease. And here lies the deeper aspiration. The long-term reward is not just success in health, wealth, or skill. It is freedom. The freedom of knowing you are no longer a slave to impulse. The freedom of a mind that obeys principle, not craving. A person who chooses long-term rewards becomes unshakable, because their happiness is rooted not in what can be taken away in an instant, but in what they have steadily built over time. Here is how you can begin today. Take one small step, just one, that favors the long term. Write down a single long-term reward you desire, perhaps running a marathon, writing a book, saving for a home, or strengthening a relationship. Then, attach a tiny, measurable daily action to it. Run for 5 minutes, write 100 words, save $5, send one kind message. These numbers are small on purpose. They are not meant to overwhelm you. They are meant to anchor you in a rhythm of action. Over time, the actions expand, the results multiply, and you discover that you are not merely chasing rewards. You are becoming the kind of person who creates them. I have seen this truth unfold in my own life. There was a time when I wanted to grow in knowledge, but I always told myself I was too busy to read. Then I made a decision, just 10 pages a day, no more, no less. After 1 year, that was 3,650 pages, more than a dozen books. 10 pages did not change me in a day. But over time, it sharpened my thoughts, expanded my vision, and transformed my discipline. The small became the great. So I ask you now, what is the long-term reward you hunger for most? Health, wisdom, strength, love. Write it down, speak it out, declare it as your North Star, and then take one small, numbered step toward it today. Train your mind to value that future over the fleeting present, and you will find that your life bends toward greatness. And now, we arrive at the middle of our journey together. If you are still here, you are already proving your capacity for long-term vision. Most would have given up, but not you. Take a moment to write in the comments, what single long-term reward do you want to claim for your life? Let this be your declaration, your promise to yourself. And stay with me, because the path ahead holds even greater strength, the kind that will push you beyond intention into action, beyond discipline into transformation. Principle 5. Your life shifts when you choose differently. It happens in an ordinary moment. The alarm rings at 6 a.m. Your hand reaches for the snooze button. Just 5 more minutes, you tell yourself. But pause, ask yourself, what if this single choice is not small at all? What if pressing snooze is a declaration that you are willing to give away your morning, your clarity, your strength? And what if rising right now is the start of an entirely different life? Your brain is built on repetition. Neuroscientists say that nearly 43% of our daily actions are habits, not conscious decisions. Every time you repeat an old pattern, you carve the groove deeper. But every time you choose differently, just once, you begin to carve a new path. The Stoics knew this truth long before modern science. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." So let me ask you, how many times today will you give away that power? When you check social media for the 10th time in an hour, what are you really seeking? Connection, escape. When you lash out at a loved one in irritation, is it really their fault, or is it your own inability to master your impulse? Beneath every action is a hidden pain, the fear of being alone, the fear of being unworthy, the fear of not being enough. And until you choose differently, that pain controls you. Now, I am not asking you to transform everything at once. That is not Stoicism, that is fantasy. I am asking for one small, concrete act today. Choose to put your phone face down during the next meal. Choose to walk for 5 minutes after work instead of collapsing on the couch. Choose to drink water instead of another can of soda. These choices seem small, but do not underestimate them. They are the first cracks in the wall of habit. They are the seeds of freedom. Here is something I want you to do right now as you watch this video. Pause for just 3 seconds. Breathe in deeply. Ask yourself, what is one choice I can make differently today? Write it down. Say it aloud. Let this moment be the first step. Imagine this. You come home tired after a long day. Dinner is done and the house is quiet. The easy choice is to reach for the TV remote, to drift through another night. But what if you sit at your desk instead, even for 10 minutes, and open that book you've been meaning to read? Or write a single paragraph of the story you've carried inside you for years? What if you prove to yourself that you are capable of choosing differently? Can you feel the shift that would create inside you? Your life does not change in grand revolutions. It changes in these quiet, ordinary victories. And with each one, you grow closer to the life you secretly long for, the life of clarity, mastery, and strength. So let me ask again, when the next moment of choice comes, will you take the easy road, or will you train your brain for maximum by daring to choose differently? Do not forget, every choice is a seed. You may not see the tree tomorrow, but with time, with patience, with repetition, it will grow. And as it grows, so will you. Principle 6. You sharpen the mind by learning deep focus. Now imagine this. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for the phone. 15 swipes later, you've read headlines you won't remember, laughed at jokes you didn't need, and compared your life to strangers you'll never meet. What did it cost you? 15 minutes. That's 15 seeds you could have planted into your own mind. Multiply that by 3 times a day, every day of the year, and that's over 270 hours lost. An entire month of your life gone. To what? To nothing. Principle 6 tells you, sharpen your mind by learning deep focus. But let's start small. Right now, as you listen, I want you to do something with me. Take a slow breath in. Hold it. Let it go. For the next 2 minutes, resist the urge to check, to scroll, to wander. Just sit with me here. Notice how loud your impulses become the moment you choose silence. That restlessness, that is the battlefield where strength is forged. The Stoics did not see focus as a luxury, but as survival. Consider Epictetus, who reminded his students that a distracted mind is a mind that is chained. Ask yourself, are you living free, or do you live chained to impulses you do not control? Let's get practical. Begin with a simple ritual. When you sit down to work, put your phone in another room, not in your pocket, not face down on the desk, out of reach. Then set a clear window, just 10 minutes at first, to do one thing only. Write a line, read one page, solve one problem. Do not underestimate the small. 10 minutes becomes 20, 20 becomes an hour, hours turn into mastery. And think about what this mastery unlocks. Imagine finishing your day with the satisfaction of having written 5 pages instead of reading 50 posts. Imagine remembering a conversation in vivid detail because you gave someone your whole attention. Imagine training your brain to resist the noise long enough to hear the deeper voice inside, the one that knows who you really want to become. Isn't that the freedom you crave? So I ask you, when was the last time you were truly present, undivided, whole? When was the last time you walked without music, cooked without a podcast, ate without a screen? What are you running from when you fill every silence? The hidden pain is this. Distraction is not just stealing your time, it is stealing your chance to know yourself. Your challenge begins now. Pause this video, set a timer for 10 minutes, and give your full focus to one task, nothing else. When the timer ends, notice how it feels. That feeling is the first step toward a sharper mind. But to grow beyond moments, you must shape focus into rhythm. Strikes sharpen a blade, but it is the rhythm of the strikes that makes it keen. So too with time. To move from fleeting focus to lasting progress, you must set a clear time. That is where the next principle leads. Principle 7. You progress when you set a clear time. It is late afternoon. The sun has begun its slow descent, painting the walls in amber light. You tell yourself, I'll start my project tonight. Hours pass, the sky darkens. Midnight comes, the task remains untouched. You close your eyes, whispering, tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow is a repeat of today. This is the trap of vagueness, the illusion that intention alone brings change. The Stoics knew better. They saw that without clear boundaries, time slips through our hands like sand. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." What is waste if not the endless postponing of what matters most? To train your mind for maximum strength, you must first respect time. Progress is never born from someday. Progress begins at a fixed hour, in a chosen place, with an action you cannot negotiate away. A mind without a schedule is a ship without an anchor, pulled by every wind, scattered by every tide. But a mind that says, at 6:30 a.m., I rise, at 7 I train, at 8 I write, becomes unshakable. Ask yourself, how often have you promised yourself change but failed to name the hour? How many dreams lie buried in the shallow grave of later? And deeper still, what does this do to your spirit? Each missed time weakens trust in yourself. Each delay teaches your brain that your words mean little. That is the hidden wound. Not simply lost hours, but a quiet erosion of self-respect. Let us be practical. Imagine a young man who wishes to read more. He decides not to read when free, but to open his book every night at 9 p.m., even if for only 10 minutes. At first it feels small, even trivial. But the act repeats day after day. In a month, he has read 3 books. In a year, 36. What seemed insignificant becomes a transformation. Or picture a mother of 2 who resolves to walk each morning at 6:15 before the house awakes. Some mornings are heavy with fatigue, yet the clock guides her feet outside. Step by step, her body grows stronger, her spirit steadier. The principle is clear. When you set a clear time, you do not merely organize your day, you command your destiny. The time you choose is not a prison, it is a gate. Each kept appointment is a declaration. My life belongs to me, not to distraction, not to delay. So let me challenge you now. Choose one task, just one. Write it down. Fix the time. Not after dinner, not when I feel ready. Say, at 8 o'clock tonight I will write half a page, or tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I will stretch for 10 minutes. Say it aloud. Anchor it in your mind. And when that time arrives, rise and do it, no matter how small. Because progress is not a thunderclap. It is the steady rhythm of footsteps, each one striking at the hour you set. It is not grand gestures, but faithful repetitions. And here lies the true gift. The more you honor the times you set, the more your discipline stops being a burden. It becomes part of you, as natural as breathing, as reliable as sunrise. This too is the heart of what we will uncover in the final principle. You succeed when discipline becomes life. The clock, once your master, becomes your ally. Your days take shape, your mind grows sharp, and your spirit learns to trust itself again. This is how you train your brain for maximum strength, through clarity, through constancy, through the sacred act of honoring the hours that are yours. Principle 8. You succeed when discipline becomes life. Discipline is not about force. It is about identity. When you wake each day and see yourself as a disciplined person, discipline ceases to be something you fight for. It becomes who you are. Most people say, "I want to be more disciplined." That is a wish, fragile and uncertain. But the moment you begin to say, "I am disciplined," something shifts at the core of your being. You start living from the inside out. Your actions begin to align with your identity, and what once felt like a struggle begins to feel natural. This is the essence of Stoic training for the mind. The Stoics did not wait for motivation. They built habits until those habits defined their character. They knew that to achieve maximum strength, the mind must move beyond mere intention and into practice so deeply ingrained that it becomes second nature. As Epictetus reminded his students, freedom is not found in indulgence, but in mastery of the self. How do we reach this place? One powerful practice is to track your discipline daily. Keep a small notebook or open an app on your phone and mark each day you live by your commitments. It might be a morning run, an hour of reading, or resisting the temptation to waste time online. Write it down. At the end of the day, review your record. If you stumble, if you miss a day, the rule is simple. Never let it become two. The danger is not in falling, the danger is in sliding. The secret is to return immediately, to pick up the thread without delay. One missed day is human. 2 missed days become a habit. This simple act of recording is like holding up a mirror to the soul. It forces you to face your reality, not your excuses. Over time, you will see the story of your discipline written in ink day after day. And there is something powerful about seeing progress accumulate, about realizing that you are, in fact, capable of being the person you once thought impossible. Scripture echoes this truth. In the book of Proverbs we read, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city." What greater victory can there be than ruling one's own spirit? The Bible and the Stoics agree. Mastery over the self is the foundation of true strength. To conquer yourself is to lay claim to a freedom no external force can take away. Ask yourself now, who are you becoming? Not tomorrow, not someday, but today, in this hour, with this choice. Every action is a vote for the person you wish to be. When you sit down to study instead of scrolling, when you rise early instead of yielding to comfort, you are casting a vote for discipline. When you falter but return the next day, you are declaring, "This is who I am." Over time, these votes accumulate into identity. You no longer force yourself to act. You act because this is simply your nature. So here is your task. Start today. Write it down. Track your discipline. Guard against 2 days lost. Speak to yourself not as someone chasing discipline, but as someone who is disciplined. Train your brain for maximum by making discipline your identity, your rhythm, your way of being. And when you live this way, you will discover something profound. Success no longer feels like a mountain you strain to climb. It feels like walking a path already under your feet. You succeed not because you force discipline, but because discipline has become your life. We have just explored 8 timeless principles of Stoicism that train the mind for maximum strength, a reason that matters, a life free from distraction, small daily steps, the vision of long-term rewards, the courage to choose differently, the power of deep focus, the clarity of setting time, and above all, the victory of making discipline your very life. Together, they form not just a philosophy, but a living path toward mastery of self, a path where training your brain for maximum power does not rely on bursts of inspiration, but on steady practice, moment after moment, until strength becomes second nature. Now it's your turn. Choose one simple habit today. Wake up earlier. Read a single page of a book. Move your body for 10 minutes. Write down your commitment. Then do it again tomorrow. You will be amazed at how quickly discipline begins to grow stronger inside you, how naturally your actions begin to align with the person you want to become. If this message has stirred something within you, I invite you to walk this path with me. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected, because each lesson we share is another step toward a mind that cannot be shaken, and a life lived with clarity and strength. And remember, this journey is personal. It is yours. No one else can walk it for you, but you are not alone. Take the first step today. You'll see, it's the beginning of becoming unbreakable.